Have you ever met such a huge resistance tsunami that it stopped you from getting things done that you need to get done? You are not alone. Now, I'm going to share with you today some little different things that you can do in order to bust through that and actually get back into action mode and get more aligned with what it is that you're doing. Stay tuned and I will talk about it really soon. Welcome to this week's vlog, all about busting through resistance. Now, one of the really big things that has reminded me of late about how important this is the filming of this particular vlog series. Now, I get my camera out and it all starts going and it's fine. Now, we've been on a vacation recently. We've come home and I'm like, right, I need to get some new content created so I can send it to you guys. And hello, resistance tsunami. Like, I'm talking massively wading through quicksand, trying to do everything else around the house, in my office, everywhere, trying to do anything other than doing the things that I needed to do, which was get some marketing happening, which was get some of these videos filmed and everything like that. Now, one of the big things that I did was I sort of like eased into it on this first Monday back, and by about 2 o'clock, I'm like, okay, great, you know what, I'm really ready to go now, and I'm ready to get cracking. Now, a huge thing for me though was that I put my camera up on the tripod and I started filming and it stopped, it froze. And so I'm like, this is a little bit weird. So I reset the camera, changed the battery, got it back on, went again, it froze again. I'm like, what the frick is going on here? So did some stuff, I tried again, it broke again. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I got my phone out and I did a blog, and then I put the phone into the computer, ready to transfer it over, and I couldn't get it across. My AirDrop wasn't working. It was like, okay, I don't know what the hell is going on universally here, but this is insanely ridiculous. What needs to change? What needs to shift? Where is this resistance coming from? Now, I'm a really big believer in, things happening for a reason and listening to the signs and stuff like that, but not getting too off with the fairies with it and letting that stop me from do what it is that I know that I actually really need to do. Now, for me, a big part of the resistance was changing some things around. I've created a new program that I really want to get people enrolled in and help people with, and I want to get back on the horse. I've taken a little bit of time off. I'm like, right, you know what, I'm really ready to get back into it now. And that was what the resistance was for me. So instead of going like, and really hating what it was that I was doing, I kind of like leaned into it a little bit more. I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to freaking give up. I am not going to let technology win. I am better than this. Now, another big thing that I thought was really interesting around this is like usually resistance comes with stepping out of your comfort zone, with trying something new, with testing some different things. And it could be around blogging, like what I'm doing with you guys. It could be around advertising. It might be around going to a new networking event. It might be putting together a new webinar. It might be doing something completely differently to the way that you've always done things. Now, me, I just signed up to write a book with a lady, an amazing coach. And I'm just like, I've been resisting signing up all week, not because I didn't want to do it, right? Just because it's unfamiliar and it's a little bit scary, and that whole stuff, like what if they don't like me? What if they don't like the book? What if I've got nothing to say? What if I don't spend this money and I decide that I don't want to do that anymore? All of that kind of stuff. And I know that this sounds familiar for you guys as well. One of the vacations recently that we went on was to the snow, and I'm a snowboarder, not a good one, but I'll give it a crack. Although our instructor did tell us to really like sink low and, pretend that we were all gangster and like the best riders on the mountain, and, everybody would just think that we were because, we were low and, poppy. And anyway, that's a whole other story. I had resistance to that too. So a big part for me with learning new things that I realized at the snow is that sometimes I need to have things explained a little bit differently compared to what other people might need things explained. Now, in one of the particular lessons, there was my husband and my oldest daughter and myself. And they're like screaming down the mountain. They're like popping and alley-ooping and, you know, doing all these crazy awesome 180s and 360s and oh my gosh, like going down black runs, smashing it, and I'm just like, I'm fine up until we get into a black run, and then I've got to turn that board facing down the mountain, and I get a little bit scared, right? Because my body wasn't doing what it was that I wanted it to do, and therefore my board wasn't doing what I wanted it to do, and you know, it was just a disaster. But anyway, I need things explained a little bit differently compared to what some people do. You know, I need to be told, all right, you know, when you're doing this with your feet, this is how they're going to feel in your boots. And then when you go onto your toes, you want to push your shins in and bend your knees and that kind of thing. Now, for those of you who aren't snowboarders or skateboarders, that might not make any sense. But my point is, the way that things had been explained before that was at a very different kind of level. So sometimes the resistance isn't actually around doing the thing that you're wanting to do. Sometimes the resistance is around, how does this apply to you? How does this apply to your business? How do you personalize this into your marketing and making that stuff happen? But the big thing around that is that it can be explained a different way, but you still need to take the steps. You still need to take that action. You know, I was told, yep, just, you know, when you're going onto your toes, like just dip in, and then when you're going ready to get down, like lift up and you'll just like ride around. And, you know, I could have listened to that and then not taken action and then kept smashing myself into the snow, which I did do lots of times, but I still tried to listen and still tried to apply. Resistance is usually something that we make up in our head because we're afraid of the outcome. In my instance in the snow, it was my knees were already bruised. I didn't want to fall over again. Like that was what the big resistance was for me. And I don't really like going hella fast either. You know, when it was signing up to write this book, the resistance was more around fear than it was around anything else. And you can let that override you. You can let that stop you in your tracks. You can let that make the decisions for you with what it is that you're wanting to do, or you can kind of lean into it and just try it and just test it. And remember that what you're actually going to start doing is creating a brand new neural pathway. That's usually where the resistance is, because there's no neural pathway there already to go along. Otherwise you'd be like, sure, it's like learning to drive a car. Right? The first time you sat in that car and you're like, oh my God, there's the indicators and the windscreen wipers and the rear view mirror and the side mirrors and the accelerator and the clutch and the brake and the gears and, you know, all the stuff. There is so much going on, like literally going on in your brain with the way that everything is firing, that it's no wonder there's resistance and a little bit of overwhelm and a bit of fear and a bit of excitement and all of that. But you know, with practice, it starts to get better and it starts to get easier and things start to flow, right? This is where Grit, a book by Angela Duckworth, I love this book. She talks about purposeful practicing and relentlessly practicing, because in those moments, that's what sets you up for being able to get on and do the thing that you're doing in a space, in a state and a place of flow, rather than it being, you know, like really hard stuff. So if you're resisting putting yourself out there, if you're resisting your marketing, then you've got to practice it. Learn the steps, practice them repeatedly, repeat them over and over and over again until it becomes so much like second nature that you can kind of just go, oh yeah, it's just another thing. You know, what was I so afraid of? Why was I resisting that? Why was I putting that off? We start to build those neural pathways. You start to build muscle memory. You start to become consciously competent so that you can just get out there and do that thing that it is that you're here to do, market yourself really powerfully, help the people that you're here to help, and create a really strong presence for yourself. Now, in case you've forgotten, my name is Nicola, and I love chatting with you today. And if you would really love a one-on-one session with me about getting your marketing up there, about creating a really solid online profile that is kind of, I hate this word holistic, but it makes sense. It's kind of like it's circular, so that no matter whether people find you on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or on your blog or in a networking event or anywhere, you've created a really strong online, powerful online presence that is reflective of the amazing work that you do, that also communicates the value that you provide to others. Now, if you'd love a one-on-one session chatting about how to make that happen for you and perhaps looking at becoming a client of mine, you can see a really big banner below this video. Go ahead and click on that and pop your information in. And if you qualify for a session, we'll go ahead and book that time in. Alternatively, if you've got any questions or comments about this blog, or if there's something else that comes up for you, go ahead and write them below. You can find me here. I'll always answer everything. You can find me on Facebook. And I thank you for being a part of this, and I really hope and trust that it has helped you. My name's Nicola, and I'll see you